Before you even think about using any crypto exchange, you have to watch this video. In it, I'm going to give you 5 of my best exchange picks. I'll give you everything you need to know about their fees, features, support, and, most importantly, safety. I also have a number of deals and discounts that you will only get here, so don't go anywhere. Okay, before kicking off, you need to know that I am not a financial advisor and none of this is financial advice. Also, this video is not sponsored in any way, although we may earn a small commission if you do decide to use any of our links below. Full transparency. I'll also state that despite how safe you think an exchange is, you should never leave a large amount of crypto on it. If there's anything that we've learned over the past year, it's the importance of self-custody. Nothing compares to holding your own coins and tokens, and I have got a dedicated video on self-custody, which I'll leave in the description for you guys. Seriously, folks, exchanges should just be used for buying and selling. The less crypto you keep there, the better. And finally, these picks are presented in no particular order, so do keep that in mind. Okay. With that spiel out of the way, let's dive right into the video with our first pick, and that is Binance. Now, I'm pretty sure that you'll have heard of Binance, but if you haven't, then here is the quick TLDR. Binance is the largest crypto exchange in the world, and it was founded in 2017. Since its founding, Binance's growth has been quite incredible. In the past 2 years, its revenue has grown tenfold, although such success has also thrown up challenges. Binance has long operated as a, quote, decentralized company with no fixed headquarters. However, this has attracted a great deal of regulatory scrutiny. In order to address this scrutiny, Binance has in recent years gone the extra mile by trying to become one of the most regulated crypto exchanges out there. It has secured licenses in at least 7 European countries, 3 in the Middle East, as well as Kazakhstan, South Africa, Australia, and New Zealand, while its subsidiary, Binance US, serves the massive American market. So it's no secret that Binance is trying its hardest to get regulated as much as possible. Such regulations should help to bring some certainty to an industry that has seen its reputation damaged by other offshore exchanges in the past. Of course, regulations count for little if the exchange in question doesn't securely store its assets or uses them improperly. Let's not forget that FTX was also attempting to be a regulated exchange, and we all know how that turned out. So, how is Binance securing those assets? Well, the most important question to ask is whether Binance is really holding all of the assets that its users have deposited one-to-one, i.e. that they're not running a fractional reserve system like regular banks do. Now, one of the best methods to do this is through what is termed proof of reserves. In the wake of the FTX collapse, numerous exchanges rushed to issue proof of reserve reports in order to assuage the fears of numerous crypto holders, myself included. I did a separate video on this, and you can watch that right over here in the top right. Now, about 2 weeks after the FTX collapse, Binance came out and issued its first Proof of Reserves report. It showed the exchange had a reserve ratio of 101%, so, in effect, it holds slightly more than required. As a quick aside, however, such Proof of Reserves are meaningless unless you can prove that the assets being held are sufficient to meet customer deposits. That's why they rely on cryptography through the use of what are termed Merkle trees. The TLDR there is that this allows you to verify your balance in the exchange's system and thereby establish that it's backed by stored funds. And I'll leave a link to this page in the description if you would like to verify your own assets. Now, there's one important caveat to Binance's Proof of Reserves, and that's that although they allow you to verify that your assets were included in the latest snapshot, it doesn't include a broader picture of the exchange's other liabilities, i.e. non-user liabilities. That said, Binance is not known for running large institutional lending desks like Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, and others did. Binance is in the process of trying to find an auditor that would further verify its reserves, although the process is taking longer than hoped. Anyhow, moving on from proof of reserves, you'll want to make sure that the exchange you're using is storing the crypto it holds securely. Like most exchanges, Binance operates a hot and cold storage protocol, which sees the majority of coins and tokens kept offline and disconnected from the internet. Unfortunately, Binance was the victim of a hack of its hot wallet back in 2019. This led them to create what is called the SAFU Fund. Quite simply, it's a reserve fund that holds a large amount of crypto in order to reimburse users for any hacks or other losses. The SAFU Fund currently holds about $780 million, and you can verify this yourself as they've listed the wallets where the SAFU Fund assets are held. So, that's security. But what are Binance's fees and asset support like? Well, Binance is well known for being a smorgasbord when it comes to crypto assets. I'm not going to go through the list here as it is pretty damn long, meaning there's a good chance you'll find the coin or token that you want to trade there. There is an important caveat here though, and that's that this coin support relates to the international exchange, Binance.com. There are restrictions on certain assets at Binance.us, and I've linked to the full list of supported assets on that exchange in the description for you guys. It's still pretty punchy though at over 150. Now, if you're going to be funding your account with fiat, there are several currencies and payment methods supported. These include USD wires via SWIFT, SEPA in the EU, faster payments in the UK, etc., etc. There are several other local payment options for other currencies as well. Failing all of that, you always have a credit card option which is available for most currencies. Do note though that the fees on card payments are prohibitively high at almost 3% for most payment providers. When it comes to trading fees, meanwhile, they depend on a number of factors. Now, these include what instruments you're trading, the volume you're doing, whether you're a maker or a taker, and how much BNB you have in your account. However, at a base level, the fees that you'll pay as a regular user, one with less than 1 million BUSD trade volume, is 0.1% for a maker and taker fee. Now, for those unfamiliar, these are the types of orders that you're placing and whether you are making or taking liquidity from the market. Quite simply, when you place an order that trades immediately before filling the trading book, this is a taker fee. These are usually market orders. And when you place an order that is first sent to the order book, that is a maker fee, and it's generally done via a limit order. I will say, though, that compared to many of the other exchanges out there, 0.1% is not a bad base rate for spot trading. And if you do higher trading volumes, then you can get to VIP levels, which further lower your trading fees. However, if you want to get a 20% fee discount off the bat without any additional requirements, then you can sign up with my link below. In addition to that, you'll also get up to a $600 bonus. Now, when it comes to all of Binance's other features and functionality, well, they are extensive. I don't have the time to go over them all here in this video, but I do encourage you to take a look at our long-form Binance reviews, and we have those in both video and written format, linked to in the usual spot. In summary then, Binance is the big dog crypto exchange. The fees are decent and the coin support is huge. There's still a cloud over it from a US regulatory perspective, but it has stood the test of time. For example, in the wake of the FTX collapse, it managed to effectively process over $3 billion in withdrawals in less than 24 hours. Pretty crazy when you think about it. Okay, on to the next exchange, and that's one most people will recognize: Coinbase. I'm going to go out on a limb here and assume that if you're involved in crypto in some way, then you're familiar with Coinbase. Coinbase is one of the OG exchanges, having been founded way back in 2013. In the years since, it has grown to become the biggest crypto exchange in the US and is the only one listed on the New York Stock Exchange. Since that listing back in 2021, things haven't all been plain sailing, but when it comes to reputable and regulated exchanges, Coinbase is one of those at the top of the pile. It's regulated to offer its services in every US state bar Hawaii and holds licenses for Canada and numerous European countries. These countries support what are termed cash balances, which is where you can hold the local currency in fiat. Beyond that, Coinbase supports trading in numerous other countries. Let's just say that wherever you are, chances are that Coinbase is supported, barring places like China, Russia, Iran, etc. Moving on though, are all user assets on Coinbase backed one-to-one? Well, given that Coinbase is a publicly listed company, it has to comply with some pretty strict rules around audited financial statements. These are released publicly and you can view them on the Coinbase website. Here you can see the total assets that they hold on behalf of all their customers. Now, while it's not a Merkle tree proof that allows you to verify your own individual balance, it does come with the stamp of approval of a Big Four auditor, in this case, Deloitte. Another really big advantage of audited financials is that you can see a broader overview of the liabilities of the exchange. For example, solvency is assured when you take a look at Coinbase's balance sheet, i.e., assets exceed liabilities. In terms of coin storage, Coinbase uses a cold storage protocol where 98% of the coins and tokens are kept offline. Those coins that are kept in a hot environment are held under best-in-class security measures. And something that would be relevant to those of you stateside is that your US dollar deposits at Coinbase are FDIC insured. That means that all balances below $250,000 are guaranteed by the federal government in the event of Coinbase ever going bankrupt. So it's pretty clear that Coinbase is one of the safest exchanges out there. So let's move on to coin support, shall we? Now, while Coinbase has not had a reputation for extensive asset support in the past, it's in the position right now where it supports most of the coins and tokens that you would want to trade. There are a few exceptions to this, however, and they include the likes of XRP, which is due to that ongoing Ripple securities lawsuit. On that note, if there are any more of these tokens or coins that are officially designated as securities, then, given Coinbase's regulatory position, it will probably delist them. So it is worth noting that. In terms of fiat support, those who are based in the US, Europe, and the UK have local currency support. That means that you can fund and withdraw from your accounts in either USD, euros, or pounds, and these balances will be reflected in your account. You can also trade against these currency pairs. If you're in any other country, then you can still fund in your local currency, but the balance will be reflected in dollars. In terms of fees, it really depends on the method that you're using. Like Binance, if you're in the UK or Europe, you can do a wire through Faster Payments or SEPA. For SEPA payments and withdrawals, Coinbase will charge 15 euro cents. For GBP withdrawals, they charge £1. If you're in the US and funding with dollars, then you can use ACH, which is free. You can also send a wire, but that will cost you $10 to deposit and $25 to withdraw. If you're in a country that does not support any of these alternatives, then you could also consider SWIFT or a credit card payment. However, as is the case with Binance, card funding is prohibitively expensive. Therefore, I would try to avoid this funding method if you can help it. Moving on to trading fees, Coinbase also operates a maker-taker model with different tiers based on your trading volume over the past 30 days. The starting point for this is 0.6% for the taker and 0.4% for the maker. This is about 4 to 6 times higher than Binance, so it's worth considering that. Although, compared to what Coinbase used to charge, it is a massive improvement. Now, looking at trading features and functionality, I'll note that Coinbase recently combined its Coinbase Pro platform into its standard platform and rebranded it to Advanced Trade. Compared to some of the other platforms out there, it's, well, not the best, but it has most of the features that you'll need for intermediate levels of trading. So, in summary, I can't really fault Coinbase too much. Yes, their fees are higher than average, and they sometimes make decisions which anger the crypto community. But they are fully audited and have weathered numerous storms in the past. Coinbase still remains one of the better solutions for US traders. Okay, on to our next exchange, and that is Kraken. Now, whereas Coinbase can be considered an OG exchange, Kraken is the OG exchange. That's because it was established way back in 2011, and its founder, Jesse Powell, actually developed Kraken as an alternative to Mt. Gox, which you may recall managed to almost destroy the entire crypto industry when it collapsed back in 2014. Kraken was considering joining Coinbase by going public last year, but decided to pull those plans when the crypto market went through the floor. Jesse Powell also recently stepped aside as CEO, which many consider to be the end of an era. However, he will continue to be a powerful force in the crypto space, despite what the corporate journalists think of him. Anywho, looking into Kraken's regulatory licenses, they have quite a few. For example, in the US, they have Money Service Business, MSB licenses, which allow them to operate in a number of states, with the exception of New York and Washington. Something else that you may find interesting is that they were the first and only exchange that was able to acquire a banking license in Wyoming. North of the border, meanwhile, Kraken also services Canadian clients thanks to a FINTRAC license. In the UK, they're FCA regulated, and in Italy, they maintain a VASP license with OAM. On top of that, Kraken also has licenses to operate out of Australia as well as the Middle East with its Abu Dhabi Global Markets license. So, it is a well-regulated exchange. Now, as regards security protocols, Kraken really stands out from the crowd. That's because it was actually one of the first exchanges to publish proof of reserves. This was even before the blow-up of FTX. In fact, it did its first proof of reserves way back in 2014. Quite something. Kraken's proof of reserves are also done in conjunction with an auditor who's able to confirm the liability balances on the exchange. As I mentioned before, this is important as it allows one to verify broader exchange solvency and not just customer deposits. Kraken's most recent full audit took place back in February of last year, and it was conducted by Armanino LLP. I'll leave a link to that in the description for you to read later. I'll also leave this handy guide over here which shows you how you can independently verify your coins are fully backed. Beyond the proof of reserves, Kraken has a host of other rock-solid protocols that are able to secure customer assets and data. For example, all sensitive data is encrypted and the exchange is ISO 27001 certified. In terms of coin storage, Kraken operates a hot-cold wallet system and stores its server infrastructure in secure cages that are under 24/7 surveillance with armed guards. Next level stuff. Anyways, it's these security protocols that have kept Kraken as one of the few exchanges never to be successfully hacked. Given that it's been around since 2011, that is really quite something. Moving on though, let's take a look at supported assets and fees. In total, Kraken supports over 200 coins and tokens on its platform. Therefore, there's a decent chance you'll find the crypto you want to trade. There are a few exceptions though, and some depend on where you're based. For example, US users can't buy XRP and a number of other cryptos. Besides that, however, Kraken also has support for quote pairs in numerous fiat currencies. I've linked to this page which compares the different crypto pairs and which fiat currencies they're crossed with. If you want to fund your account with fiat, then Kraken supports several payment options depending on the currency that you want to use. For example, in the US, they have Fedwire, Swift, and ACH. They also have SEPA in Europe, faster payments in the UK, and wire and e-transfers for Canada. Additionally, they have funding options for the Aussie dollar and Swiss franc, so relatively well supported. If you're going to be using any of these funding methods, then I would encourage you to take a look at this page over here where they list all of the fees for doing so. Most of the popular options are free, although there are minimum deposit options. And speaking of fees, Kraken's trading fees are also quite reasonable. Like Binance and Coinbase, it operates on a maker-taker model, which differs according to your 30-day trading volume. The most basic of trading fees you encounter are 0.16% for the maker fee and 0.26% for the taker fee. This is assuming that your 30-day trading volume is below $50,000. I'll state, though, that these are the fees assuming that you're using Kraken Pro, their advanced trading platform. If you're going to go with the more simplistic instant buy option, then the fee is presented to you before you place the trade. They also have different fees for trading stablecoin pairs, as well as margin and futures trading pairs. Now, when it comes to the rest of Kraken's features and functionality, we have longer form reviews in both written and video form, which I will, of course, leave in the description for you guys. So be sure to give those a read before you decide to start trading. In summary then, Kraken is a great exchange. It's stood the test of time and has always been leading the crypto cause in a number of ways, including through publishing proof of reserves earlier than anyone else. You really can't go too far wrong with Kraken, in other words. On to the next exchange, though, and that is OKX. Now, if the name OKX sounds familiar, that's because it used to be called OKX back in the day. However, last year they decided to rebrand by dropping the E from their older name. Bold move, chaps. Bold indeed. Jokes aside, the branding did come with a completely new strategy. If you'll recall, OKX was predominantly a China-focused exchange. However, given the bans that the Chinese government instituted against crypto companies, it made sense for the company to diversify away from mainland traders. As an entity, OKX is owned by the OK Group, which also owns OKCoin. The company is registered in the Seychelles, which I can only assume was done out of convenience. Having said that, they do maintain additional offices in Beijing, Singapore, Hong Kong, Dubai, Malta, San Francisco, and the Bahamas. In terms of licenses, OKX managed to secure one in the UAE in July of last year. This is under the Emirates Virtual Assets Regulators Authority, or VARA. This allows them to offer their services to users in the UAE, the broader Gulf area, Africa, and elsewhere. That aside, OKX has been as transparent as possible when it comes to their reserves. Since November of last year, they've been publishing their monthly proof of reserves. The solvency ratio has always been above 100%, which means that they are fully backed. If you have an account with OKX, you can also verify that your assets are backed. In terms of the composition of these reserves, the wallets are tracked by Nansen Analytics, and they show that over 90% of the holdings are in BTC, ETH, and USDT, so liquid cryptocurrencies. I will, however, note that, as is the case with Binance, these proof of reserves and proofs of solvency do not give a broader picture as to OKX's financial position. That is something that will require a full audit. But so far as guarantees around user deposits go, it's good to know that they are fully backed at OKX. In terms of other security features, OKX also maintains a robust cold storage protocol with 95% of the coins held offline. Moreover, when it comes to the storage of each of these cold wallets, none of them have more than 1,000 BTC on them, and they are stored in bank vaults. On top of that, a cold wallet is no longer used for deposits once a withdrawal has been initiated from it. You can see all the other security features that OKX has over here. One can only assume that these are working because, to the best of my knowledge, OKX hasn't suffered any hacks of its crypto holdings. Moving on though, let's take a look at OKX's country and asset support, shall we? So firstly, you should know that OKX is restricted in certain jurisdictions. The most notable here is, of course, the United States, but it also includes 2 Canadian provinces, as well as Malta. However, if you are in a country that does support OKX, then you have several options for funding your account. They support 30 fiat currencies and 17 payment options. The simplest way to do this is with a card, but it's likely to also be the most expensive. Hence, I would recommend funding with a wire. Yes, it will take at least a day or two to hit your account, but it's worth it when you consider the savings that are made on fees. Thankfully, for those in Europe, there is near-instant SEPA functionality, which is easiest for your euro transfers. Looking at coin support on OKX, meanwhile, it is quite extensive as well. There are well over 300 coins and tokens supported, and they should cover most of your trading needs. OKX also has a number of supported trading pairs for some of the more popular coins, as well as having a decent amount of liquidity. In terms of trading fees, OKX also operates a tiered maker-taker model. However, there are 2 different classes of investor. You have standard users, which are those who have less than $100,000 on the platform or less than $10 million in 30-day trading volume. These users can achieve different fee levels based on how much OKB they have in their account, which is obviously OKX's native token. Then, of course, you have the VIP levels, which are for those who have either more than 100K on the platform or more than $10 million in trading volume. The more volume or assets that you hold on the platform, the lower your fees. I'm going to assume that most of you are not keen on holding exchange tokens or trading over $10 million in monthly volume. So then, the starting fees there are 0.08% and 0.1% for the maker and taker fees, respectively. These are in line with Binance's and lower than Coinbase or Kraken. However, if you wanted to get these even lower, without any of these arbitrary requirements, then I do have a special deal for you. If you use our link in the description, then you can get a 40% discount on those trading fees right off the bat. In addition to that, if you meet certain trading volume or deposit requirements, there are bonuses of up to 10K available. It's a time-limited deal, so if you are thinking of using OKX and want to take advantage of it, you have until the end of the month. In terms of the other features and functionality of OKX, they are quite extensive and I won't go through them all here. Of course, we do have a more in-depth review for you on our website, which will be in the usual spot. In summary then, OKX is a good exchange with a wide range of coin support. They have a proven track record with security, and I do welcome their monthly proof of reserve audits. That said, their country support is limited, but one hopes that should change as they secure more licenses. Okay, on to our fifth and final exchange now, and that is BitGet. Now, BitGet is a Singapore-based exchange that was founded back in 2018, so the newest exchange on this list. However, they have recently been on a wide-scale global expansion, and that has seen them secure several licenses. These include an MSB license in the US, a FinTrack license in Canada, a digital currency spot license in Australia, along with a number of other international licenses. BitGet's expansion has seen the exchange grow over several different metrics in the past year. These include a 300% increase in trading volume and growing their employee headcount by over 5 times. It's seen them climb up the rankings on sites such as CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, and they are now in the top 10 of both aggregators. BitGet has also published proof of reserves and have completed at least 3 of these since December of last year. In their latest snapshot, taken at the end of January, it showed that they had a 227% reserve ratio. That means that they hold more than double customer deposits in assets. Beyond this, BitGet also maintains a $300 million insurance fund. This is the BitGet Protection Fund, which can be thought of as similar to Binance's SAFU fund in that it stands as a backstop should there be any losses on the platform. For example, if customers had their accounts compromised through no fault of their own, then they would have a right to claim from the BitGet Protection Fund. In terms of coin security, BitGet operates much like the other exchanges mentioned above, in that they keep the bulk of their coins in cold storage and only a limited amount in hot wallets. There are also some pretty advanced protocols that they use to protect their hot wallets from any hacks, which you can read about in their FAQ over here. Moving on to the funding options, BitGet has recently announced support for Euro funding through SEPA and GBP funding through Faster Payments. Both of these fiat funding options take less than a day to hit your account. They also have a Brazilian Real wire option available through Pix. As an FYI, these options are also available for European, UK and Brazilian traders who are looking to withdraw in fiat as well. Unfortunately, there are no options for funding your account with USD wires or SWIFT payments. Therefore, if you wanted to fund the account with dollars, then you'd have to use the same option that's available to most other currencies, and that is through a credit card. While this is instantaneous, let's not forget that these credit card providers charge exorbitant fees. Of course, there's always the option to fund your account with crypto, and this doesn't come with any fees as well, apart from network fees when withdrawing. One more thing to note is that there is a daily withdrawal limit of 50K and a monthly withdrawal limit of 100K if you have not completed ID verification. Looking at supported cryptocurrencies, BitGet also has a pretty extensive list. There are over 250 spot trading pairs available, which should satisfy most of your trading needs. Diving into trading fees, it's once again a maker-taker model with different fee levels based on your trading volume. BitGet has labeled their different trading tiers as their VIP privileges, which gets you, among other things, an account manager, etc. The minimum requirement for VIP Level 1 is at least $50,000 in 30-day trading volume. However, assuming that you're just starting out on the exchange and you're on the standard tier, then you will have a maker and taker fee of 0.1% for both, so about on a par with Binance. You can drop this down to 0.08%, although this will require you to hold some of their native exchange token, as is the case with OKX. I have a better alternative for you though, and that is through the discount that we've been able to arrange. So, if you use my link in the description, then you will get a time-limited fee discount of 60%. On top of that, you'll also get $20 free, as well as additional trading bonuses, all explained in the deals page I've linked to. So, that's an option open to you should you want to give BitGet a shot. There is a lot more to BitGet that I can't cover here, including the platform, copy trading features, Launchpad, and other unique features. These are, as standard, covered in a separate review, which I've left in the usual spot for you folks. In summary then, BitGet is a good exchange with wide coin support and provable coin reserves. They have attractive fees and are expanding at a rapid pace. It would have been good to see dollar funding options, but perhaps they are already in the pipeline. And so that about does it for my top list of exchanges in 2023. I do encourage you to do your own research on each of these, and I've left a wealth of resources for you in the description, so do check those out. However, if you are going to be using any of these exchanges, or any other centralized exchange for that matter, then it is absolutely crucial that you practice self-custody. Irrespective of how much you think you trust an exchange's proof of reserves, nothing beats the security of holding your own funds in your own wallet. I've said it a million times before, and I will say it again. Not your keys, not your crypto.